Pantheon at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. This is their multi-launch roller coaster, and in this video, I'll be giving out my personal thoughts on this masterpiece. So let's start off with a bit of background. Pantheon was manufactured by the roller coaster company Intamin, and back in 2017, plans were filed for this attraction called Project Madrid, which was a huge roller coaster that would have stretched across the Rhine River from Italy over to Germany. But it ended up not being feasible, so they decided to split it up into two different attractions. The first half was Pantheon, the second half was planning to be this ride called Dragonspire, and it featured a huge 300-foot plus spike, and it was pretty stupid. And that's also when Pantheon had its opening delay from 2020 over to March 25th, 2022. But what happened to Dragonspire? Well, that project got cancelled. Then a few years later, Busch Gardens filed permits for a ride to feature a 220-foot height, and it looked like it was going to be an RMC like Iron Gwazi over at Busch Gardens Williamsburg's sister park, Busch Gardens Tampa. Afterwards, it went silent, and out of nowhere, they scaled the plans way down to a family coaster, which is now known as Big Bad Wolf: The Wolf's Revenge. What a history for that time period. So back on track, what's the presentation like for Pantheon? So Pantheon is located in the Italy section of Busch Gardens Williamsburg, which is towards the left of the front entrance in the England section, and that's also where you have rides like Apollo's Chariot and Tempesto. Pantheon is located on an isolated plot of land, located on the other side of the train in nearby Roman Rapids, and is so isolated you have to walk over a bridge to access the ride. So after walking across that bridge, you're greeted with the ride's entrance and plaza, and there's a test seat outside of the entrance to see if you fit. Then you walk in the queue, and this is where my biggest turnoff of Pantheon occurs. Yeah, it's the theming, which it really isn't. So all you have throughout the queue are these little posters, and that's it. It's actually pathetic. You're also walking by an animal habitat for the first part of it, and the station isn't anything to shout at either. It's so plain and sad. They could have themed it up by having columns in the queue, or themed the station to the actual Pantheon in Rome. If I had to take a guess why Busch Gardens didn't do this, they probably ran out of money. But this is the epitome of a Six Flags coaster. No theming and plop down in a field. But enough negative talk. After waiting in line, you can pick a row as long as it's not busy. Then you hop on board, pull down your lap bar and dispatch, and that will lead us into the ride experience. So while you dispatch, there is a deep voice that says,
"Harness the speed and strength of 5 Roman gods as you conquer."
Oh my gosh.
It really sets the mood. So you go through 2 S-bends to warm you up for the first launch, and this has some good pull. You could easily hit your head on the seat backing if you're not prepared. Then comes a zero-G winder, which is weird as it sounds. It's like an ordinary zero-G roll, but it's shaped differently, and it is a fun element. Then comes a helix, which pulls some pretty good positive forces. Then you go through 2 outer banked hills, and these feel pretty weird. It's weak airtime, but it's just the novelty of it that makes it cool. Then you go through the switch track and launch 2 more times. And what I mean by that is that you boost, go over an airtime hill, and boost up again towards the top hat. And the sounds of the launches is so pleasing to the soul. Just give it a listen. Afterwards, the switch track slides over, and the train doesn't have enough momentum to clear the top hat, and then it rolls backwards. Then the 2 launches boost you backwards, and this part is freaking nuts. The airtime hill in the middle caught me off guard when I rode it for the first time. If you want my reaction to it, check out this video in the card above. It's safe to say my expectations were blown out of the water during that element. So after that crazy pop of airtime, the train glides through the switch track and enters the spike. You get fantastic airtime here, and a great view all around. Then the train goes through the switch track again and goes over the 2 launches and airtime hill at a faster speed, and it's even crazier. It throws you down like an angry parent sitting their upside child down on a chair. Afterwards, the train has enough momentum to clear the top hat, and you get a magical view of the park at the top. It is unreal, but you better take in that view because it's not going to last long. Afterwards is a 95-degree drop. I like how the train keeps going down the drop slowly and eventually clearing it. After that, the ride takes a photo while turning to the right near the ground and straightens out and then goes through a drawn-out overbank turn. You get fun laterals and floaty airtime here. Then the train snaps to the right and traverses into the zero-G stall. With that lap bar, you're just dangling there for a few seconds. The hang time there is incredible. Then you pierce through some supports while turning to the left near the ground, and the positive view are very strong. Then you traverse a quick S-bend delivering fast laterals, and the final element is up next with the wave turn. You mildly whip through it, and then you come in hot into the brakes. And that concludes your ride experience on Pantheon. And I think Pantheon is a masterpiece of a creation. It exceeded my expectations. Yeah, they could have themed it up a bit better, but if you're focusing on the layout, it is one of the best roller coasters on the East Coast. Every element has a purpose. Like the zero-G winder has great hang time and laterals, and it's so weird in a very good way. The swing launches have some good pull, especially the backwards one while going over the little bunny hop. Before riding this, I expected to get a little airtime, and I could not have been more wrong if I've tried. It is so aggressive. The spike has some great flow, and if you're in the back, you feel like you're on top of the world. The top hat has some good laterals and whip rising up, and you get a good pop of airtime in the back on the way down. The outer bank feels wonky and drawn out, but imagine this. If it was like Iron Gwazi's outer bank, oh my gosh, Pantheon would be world class. And arguably better than Maverick at Cedar Point. They are both very close in my top 5, but I do give the edge to Maverick because there are no dead spots. This is the ride's only quote-unquote dead spot. The stall afterwards has amazing hang time, and that near miss afterwards got me. And that's the reason why you can't be over 76 inches tall or 6'3". The little S-bend has some good whip, and the wave turn has some fun flow. There are many graceful elements, but there are some really snappy ones too. And I will say this, Pantheon has made me even more excited for Velocicoaster. What I've heard, it's a themed up Pantheon but way better, and there's a reason why it's my top bucket list roller coaster. I cannot wait to get on Pantheon again someday. And to wrap this up, let's end it off with the final score. After some deep thinking, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Why I took off a point was because of the theming and the Outer Bank. It is fun for what it is, but I just really wish it was like Wazi's Outer Bank. Besides that, Pantheon is absolutely outstanding. It is by far the best roller coaster here at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, and this is in my top 10 easily. I forgot to mention that I rode this 6 times in total, and they were mostly in the back, and if you were curious, it's definitely a back row ride for sure. And that's because the forces just hit harder in the back. The lap bars are very comfortable as well. It snugs up against your waist. So overall, if there was a roller coaster you would marathon at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, this is the one to do. It has airtime, hang time, laterals, any forces you can imagine. It's right here on Pantheon, and I say it's worth the price of admission. Can't get enough of this ride. So I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on Pantheon at Busch Gardens Williamsburg? If you've ridden it or not. If you enjoyed this video, it would be really appreciated if you gave this video a like, and maybe subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so any support really means a lot. If you want daily content, you can go check out my shorts with daily roller coasters, where I talk about a different roller coaster every single day. And like always, make sure to keep that adrenaline pumping, and thanks for watching.